So I'm sure you all have seen movies, TV shows, play video games, and listen to music, but what if I tell you this? What if most things that you've seen on TV, or in the movies, or in live shows, or performances and stuff like that are like not entirely connected to the performers themselves? Well, ladies and gentlemen, you're about to find out here in a bit. Hey guys, what's up? This is Byron here, and I would like to discuss something that many of you might have noticed. So, when it comes to actors and singers and musicians and even the crew members, like, directors, producers, executives, etc., you may have known them really well for the work that they've done over the years, especially when it comes to them working in Hollywood, New York, and even Canada. But there's simply one thing that you guys might have noticed, and I have not even talked about this yet. And I really hate to say this, y'all, but the characters you might have seen in both live action or through like certain characters, the performers and crew members themselves are nothing like what you've seen on TV and such, except for the behind the scenes. And I'm about to tell you something that's true. Because most actors and singers and songwriters and even like rappers and like everybody else you might have seen like in your lives, especially the executives, directors, producers, musicians, hell, even professional wrestlers and athletes and animators, as well as dancers, puppeteers, and even voice actors, most of those famous people that you might have seen in real life and or even on social media are not always or necessarily like what they are in real life, especially when it comes to their personal lives. For example, you might recognize these famous people, including Bill Cosby, which you might have thought he was a cool person until he turned out that he was a monster, according to the allegations. And not to mention Steven Spielberg, that created so many iconic movies, including some of the Don Bluth films, as well as E.T., Jaws, Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, you name it all. And unfortunately, in reality, according to one of the allegations, he's actually not the person that you thought he was. And like, oh no. Don't even get me started on Harvey Weinstein. That guy was really disgusting. Despite being an executive producer and like one of Hollywood's icons back in the day, well, like I'm not going to even discuss what he did because we all know what he did. And not to mention a lot of rappers that have screwed themselves over, like Jay-Z, for example. And I'm very sure that a lot of rappers have themselves over from like drugs to other criminal activity, you know what I mean. But here's the thing, when it comes to famous people portraying their identities as well as their stage names, you might think that they're real and all, especially when you're young, but like as you get older, they're not like what you think they are. Let me tell you why. You see, when it comes to actors, their main priority is to portray the character that they're not, or like the character that the actor can relate to. And here's the thing also when it comes to this. Not all characters are portrayed by the actors that are like personally connected to each other when it comes to this and that. Because let me give you some good examples. When you're on stage and when you're performing a character, you're not performing yourself. You're actually performing a different character that you're not. Like, for example, I was the boy in The Boy Who Drew Cats. And the character that I portrayed is the boy. And the boy himself, I mean, I could kind of relate to him a little bit, but in reality, I'm not that character because I did not go through everything that he went through in this, classic Japanese fairy tale that you might have read growing up. And basically, when it comes to acting, what acting does too is that it can actually change brain activity, especially when you change the personality. And hell, if you're not in the theater, maybe look into William Shakespeare. And like William Shakespeare has a lot of great stories that came to life on stage. And like with those actors, their characters that they portray are not the same as the actors themselves are. Which, by the way, if you don't know, actors do lie. Well, not all of them do. But like from my perspective, I think that the reason a lot of actors lie, especially when they're not portraying their own character, is because they're actually used to changing their own brain activity and personality. I mean, that's just how it is, especially when you take acting classes and when you take theater classes and when you do theater and all that. Yeah, it's like you're technically escaping from reality by going ahead and playing the characters that you're not in real life. And like when you look at it, it's just generally amazing. And hear me out on this. This goes to every actor that you might have seen on TV or in movies or like at some sort of performing arts theater. Same thing with the Nickelodeon actors and same thing with the Disney actors and even like every other actor you might have seen, from comedy to horror to drama, from like TV to movies. Like, it's literally everywhere. And here's the thing about this. A lot of actors have agencies, and like if they're very famous, every time that they go out, there's always paparazzi. And that is also the same thing with singers, musicians, and professional wrestlers you might have seen on WWE and even AEW. And not to mention the famous athletes and all that. And unfortunately, when it comes to actors, they're not going to always respond to you nicely. Hell, even those you might know and love, like Tom Hanks, for example, and even Tobey Maguire.
What are you doing? Back the f*** off! What are y'all doing? What do you want? People are crazy, bro. Knock it over my wife.
You're good. Back up. I can't see the cars.
Okay, back up, guys. You can't see the cars.
They got the f*** out of the way. I can't see. There are cars there, mother. Get out of the way. They're stopping.
And hey, what about Bill Murray? I'll tell you that for sure.
Stop it.
stop.
If you attack me like that again, I'll step on your foot. Okay, don't do it. That's a physical assault you just made. Sorry. Don't do it again.
And not to mention Chevy Chase was also a famous actor, but yeah, he could be a dick, especially when it comes to paparazzi and like meeting his fans and all that. And that's based on what I heard, and I'm sure that's true. But in reality, the reason a lot of famous people act that way, even if it's unintentional, is that they deal with the stress from the fame and dealing with a lot of stress from like the paparazzi and the fans going,
hey, oh my god, it's this famous person. Oh, hey, can I get autograph?
I mean, I just can't even imagine how stressful that would be to be a celebrity and all of a sudden you have a lot of people coming to you and just screaming your name and just going yada yada yada. Well, I hate to say this, but unfortunately that's what happens when you become a celebrity, because based on what I've seen, I don't know, man. Well, even though I'm a YouTuber, I'm not as famous, but hey, that's why they say support the locals, and I'm kind of a local guy, so yeah. And let me tell you this, a lot of people talk about their perspectives about like several celebrities that they meet. And you know, not to mention, but some claim that, oh, the celebrity that they met is nice, and while others say that, oh, when I met this celebrity and that celebrity, they were mean or rude or whatever. Well, yeah, buddy, we get it. We don't want to meet a celebrity that acts like that. But unfortunately, in some cases, of course they're going to act like that because you're not respecting their boundaries. Like, do you not understand what social boundaries are? I bet you don't. Or something like personal boundaries. You not know what personal boundaries are? Or like any type of boundaries? Like, honestly, I wish that everybody could understand that, because there's a lot of people out there, even celebrities, that don't respect any boundaries in any shape or form. And that's unfortunate when it comes to that. And I hate to inform this, but there's a lot of people out there that still disrespect the boundaries of each celebrity, like this lunatic did, for example. Not to mention a Cleveland Browns fan who was actually harassing Burrow, where he told him to F off and all that. And even that one time when that kid asked Joe Burrow to sign his autograph, like in the middle of the night. Isn't that kid supposed to be in bed by then? When it comes to Britney Spears, she was being like so argumentative to not only her sister Jamie Lynn Spears, but also Jamie's co-star from Zoe 101, Alexa Nicholas. And like, it sucks because it's traumatizing for a lot of children to meet their idols and then all of a sudden they get all rude and all that. Kind of like how your parents act to you and all that. It's honestly screwed up, but at the same time, guess what? They're human beings. And let me tell you this, for those of you that are young, when you meet your favorite idol, do not expect them to act the way you want them to act, because you don't know what they're going through. But wait, okay. That's kind of off topic here, but you get the point of what I mean. That's gonna be a different story for a different day. But yeah, no, hear me out on this. See, on average, there is a difference between actors portraying the heroes and the actors portraying the villains. Now, I'm sure that a lot of people may have heard of this unfortunate fact that a lot of actors that portray heroes turn out to be a bunch of jerks and all that. Unfortunately, that is 100% true, but in reality, this does not apply to every actor that doesn't act like that. While the actors that play the villains are actually really nice people, like for example, Stefan Carl Stephenson, who played Robbie Rotten. He was actually a really nice person that you can meet, especially based on this campaign that he had for his cancer treatment, where everybody was like, hey, we are #1, and it literally turned into a meme. Oh, those were good times. And to be honest, I can definitely see why a lot of people prefer villains than heroes in like a lot of movies and TV shows and all that. It's not because of the villains themselves being evil like they already are, but it's mainly because of their personalities and their talent that they have. And a lot of people can relate to the fact that, oh, they're pessimistic and all. There is a lot of pessimistic people out there that are kind of like that. And based off of the talent they have, it really interests a lot of people that are not always into actual heroes and all that. So there you go. And while this does not apply to every single actor that portrays the villain, like I said, a lot of actors that portray the villains, they actually act really nice to people, especially in real life, and that's what's really cool about it. So you can definitely see the difference from there. And I'm sorry to say this, but it's true, because when it comes to celebrities, they're also people as well. And like when it comes to their attitudes and behaviors, even mental health struggles, you actually don't know what they're going through, unless they tell you that, because well, not everyone owes you an explanation, so just remember that. And the last thing that I would like to talk about in this video is the fact that child actors and actors, they literally go down the drain. Even if their movies and shows have ended. I'm pretty sure this applies to a lot of other people like singers, athletes, rappers, etc. But it's the fact that a lot of celebrities, especially from Hollywood, they literally become what you never thought they were going to be. Like, for example, when you're a child actor on like Nickelodeon or Disney Channel or like anything on a sitcom or a drama series, etc., etc., you might think that they would be famous later in life, but then all of a sudden they just become creeps, predators, homeless, and even those that go right into addiction like drugs just to get away with like whatever trauma they face, especially those that have been abused by Diddy, Dan Schneider, Brian Peck, Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump. You name it all. Even for adult actors, singers, and so on, because a lot of them just go ahead and either do drugs, like cocaine, meth, heroin, and it's also unfortunate that some of them have turned out to be alcoholics, where they just go in and drink alcohol all the time, and all of a sudden, like when they're driving, while they're under the influence or intoxicated, boom, it's on the record when you get arrested for DUI or DWI, and it's really unfortunate. Not to mention the Justin Timberlake incident that happened back in 2024. And what about Kyle Massey? He's already screwed up. But anyway, it's unfortunate we have like a lot of bad shows being made by like a lot of great people, while at the same time you have like a lot of great shows and such being made by like a lot of horrible people out there. And it's just, it's honestly screwed up. I don't know what to say, but it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but you get what I mean. And yet, at the end of the day, you have a lot of people that are like very famous becoming criminals. Not all of them, but most of them that have become one. Although in very rare cases, sadly, celebrities do kind of change, but not a lot of them do. Not to mention also Arnold Schwarzenegger, which you might know him as the Terminator and in other films as well. I actually heard a rumor on Facebook where he allegedly stole a wallet from a fan that was meeting him at like some sort of Comic-Con or like MovieCon or like whatever he went to. I mean, if he did, then Arnold, what the hell is wrong with you? But if not, then why are you making stuff up? So yeah, guys, that'll do it for the video. Make sure you like and subscribe. I really hope you enjoy the vid. Let me know down in the comments below if you'd like to see any of these videos related to like certain topics I like to talk about here. And yeah, thank you all for watching. And this is me, Byron, signing off. Peace.